So what was the class that we did in previous section? Creation of virtual machine, right? I'm right, right?
Yeah.
So we created two subnets, then deploy machines. I think we deploy machine to the private subnet. This is our VPC. So this is our VPC. And this is our subnet. Public subnet. And this will be our subnet private. So the same scenario, earlier we deploy one machine here, right? One virtual machine here. And remotely we take a remote login to this specified machines, right? Linux server. So today we will deploy this same machine in the same subnet. Then we will deploy some application to the web server. Okay. So anyone have any idea how to fulfill this requirement? For example, we have one application code as like a sample web application. Okay. So how to deploy that web application to the to this mission? Okay. Any idea? Anyone? I'm audible, right?
Yes.
That's fine. So no idea, right? To deploying a web application.
No idea.
Okay. So here you can see we deployed one. Assume that we deploy one web server, okay? So this is our web server, Linux. This is our server, okay, not web server. So first we deploy a server, any OS like Ubuntu, Linux. So after that, we will install a service called web server. This is our server and this is web server, okay? Both are different. Web server is a service to serving web contents, okay? So web server is a service to serve web contents. As per the request. For example, someone requests to view some website, okay? For example, they are accessing or they are requesting to view www.abc.com. So that request comes to the web server actually, okay? So web server will take the action and it will provide, I mean, serve the web content, okay? That we hosted within the web server. So there are common web servers are there like Apache, Nginx, Nginx, then Tomcat, Caddy. These are the common web servers that are available. We can easily install the application like web server application, and we can deploy our HTML application or the web
Hi
application.
everyone, I just saw the message.
Hi. I forgot to put that in our group. So Amol, today we will discussing application deployment, okay, using web servers. Because in earlier section we deployed that virtual machine within our subnet.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So we actually go through the web servers like Apache, Nginx, Tomcat, Caddy that we are commonly used in for web servering, web server, okay. Okay, so I will show how to do the things, okay. Like, for example, we have one web server, one server, okay. First, we need to configure. Our requirement is deploying a web application to a server. So first we need to configure a server, right? This is our Linux server, okay. Then next thing is install that web server, okay? For example, Apache. We can install Apache. So after installing Apache, we have the codes, okay? We have the application code. So after installing Apache, we need to go to the default directory of the Apache, okay? After installation, we will get a directory, okay? That common directory is var www html. So this will be the directory where we keeping the code, okay? I mean, the HTML directory, okay? So anyone knows what is directory? No idea?
So it's the place where we have the inbuilt packages. We just install them, like like the already written codes, like programs.
Right.
Directory is a file where you can have files inside that file.
Yes, in common way we can say like it's a file system structure, okay, for organizing files on Linux systems. Similar like in our Windows machines we have folders, right? Subfolders for keeping files, right? So this will be the default directory we will get after installing Apache. So consider this var is a folder and www is another folder and HTML is another folder. So we will keep our files in HTML folder, okay? Got it? Any doubt?
Then after installing Apache, like web server, then what we did?
After installing Apache or any web server, we will get that directory.
We will get
So,
that directory.
yes.
Okay.
So for the same requirement, we need to deploy. First, we need to configure virtual machine. So I'm going to quickly deploy one server, launch instance, give it a name like web application. I'm going with the Amazon Linux, okay, that would be fine. Free tier is fine. And here we can choose the required network settings, okay. So just drop down and here we can see the Apple that we created earlier. Then choose, when we choosing the VPC, we need to choose the corresponding subnet, okay. So here you can see there is two subnet, private and public. So choose accordingly, okay. If we choose private, then we couldn't get the connections to the machine remotely, okay. And here we need to change to enable auto assigning public AP. Otherwise, we didn't get the public AP, okay. Same way we will face trouble. We can't log into the machine. So as per the requirement, we need to change to disable or enable. So in this case, we need to take a remote connection. That's why I am changing to enable. Then coming to the ports, securities, I mean, which port that the machine use, okay. So this should be enabled. Otherwise, we couldn't get the login, remote login, because we use SSH for remote login. That's fine. Launch instance. Okay, we can here, there is a Q connect options here. So it will open a browser shell, okay. Connect. See, it will open one browser. I mean, one tab. And here we can manage our machine. See, control. We will go through the Linux section, okay, in coming days, like Linux commands and everything. So our requirement is, first our requirement is to install web server, right? Now we have the server and our requirement is to deploy application. So we need to install web server. So there is a command for installation, installing that web server, okay? So now in this case, we will configure Apache web server. So there is some specific commands to install different web servers, okay? So before that, we need to use yum command. Yum is the package manager of this Amazon Linux, okay? So we need to start with the yum, then install. We are asking to yum to install the service, then the service name. The service name is Apache, okay? So Apache name for Amazon Linux. I mean, for this specific server, the name like HTTP, HTTPD. This is HTTPD daemon service, okay, actually. So we called as Apache. So for example, we have a Ubuntu server, okay, instead of this Amazon Linux. Then we need to use apt package manager, okay, apt install. If we are in Ubuntu, okay, in this case it's Linux. If we are in Ubuntu, then we need to use apt install Apache 2. That's a command for installing Apache. For coming to Linux, this is the same. This is a command for installing same Apache web server. So hit enter. So it will download. Okay, this will download the this HTTPD from internet. So the Apache installation is successful. Okay. This is a command, okay? Like systemctl is a command to check our service status. We can stop the service. We can restart the service. And yes, we can do systemctl for doing specific actions, okay? So in this case, I need to check the status of that Apache service, okay? So you can use systemctl. This is a Linux command line tool to checking the status, okay? In this case, I'm going to checking the status. Or we can stop the service, start the service, reload. So
We're gonna
systemctl,
learn these commands, right, sir?
we need to learn some common commands to administering Linux servers.
Okay. And these, whatever you're using here, will gonna be there.
Right.
Okay.
Status. So now we are checking the status of service, okay? Which service? The same service we installed, HTTPD. Hit enter. See, this is the status of our service. So in here you can see the Apache HTTP.service. That is Apache HTTP server loaded. Yeah, loaded. Actually, application is loaded in the corresponding directory, okay? So here you can see the active section. So the service is not active. We install the service and everything is fine. Everything is loaded, but the application is not active. I mean, not running. So we need to start the service in this case, okay? Because sometimes when we installing a service that would not start automatically, we need to manually start the service. So we can use the same systemctl command to start the service. Systemctl start HTTPD. Now check again, okay, the status. Now you can see the active section. It's running. Got it. So
So
now
what is the difference with the HTTP and HTTPD? So the right command is HTTPD. That's what you mean?
HTTP is a daemon actually. I mean, for the Apache, HTTPD means Apache. See,
Uh-huh. But
HTTPD
when we
service,
used, but
the
initially
Apache,
when we, yeah.
yes, Apache is, come again.
Okay.
Daemon is like a system process on Linux, right?
Right.
So it's like when you say HTTPD, it's the daemon process in Linux that is keeping the HTTP service on. Any service, when you add the D to it, that's like the process. Inside a computer, when you do Control-Alt-Delete, you see all the processes, right, on Windows. I
Right.
think in Linux, the command is PS, and you see all the running processes. So you'll see like a HTTPD if you have HTTP running on your Linux machine.
Okay. Thank you.
So we need to check the service is active. Now here we can see it's active, right? So in another way we can cross check the application is up or not. So we can check the web server IP, take the IP of our server and check it on tab that web server is active or not using port number 80, okay? Because this is web application. So we use the port number 80. So before that, we need to enable the port number, right? As of now, we didn't open port 80 for this server. Only 22 is enabled, right? So go to select the machine and here you can see security. So the security group we can see here. This security group is attached for this web server, okay? So click on that. and come to the inbound rules. Okay. So here edit inbound rules. And here we need to add one more rule. Okay. Add rule. Because in this case, what actually I'm doing, I am checking the web server or the checking the server, okay, to this IP. This is called so in our case, this is a web server, right? Linux machine. And we already opened 22 for remote connection. Now we install Apache. So Apache is for serving web content, right? So web contents in this case, HTTP, okay? HTTP protocol. For exposing web content, we use the protocol HTTP along with the port number 80. So HTTP protocol using port number 80. So now I am going to enable port number 80 for incoming traffic. Someone requesting, I mean the same way. Now I am requesting to the same. See, now I requested, but I got this gateway timeout error because I didn't open the port number 80. Okay. So now I am going to open HTTP is here. We can see default. It will list here. So it will open port number 80 to home. Okay. So I'm going to choose everyone and save rule. Now I am going to reload again. See, it works. That means the Apache's installation is successful. So we can check the directory as well, okay? Like cd var ls. Okay. cd commands we using for change directory, okay? Now I am changing my directory to var. See, before I am in EC2 user directory, okay? Now I am in this var. So here we can see a lot of subdirectories and files. So everything is, we can see. So our requirement is we need to go to the www. Again, we need to use cd www. Again, I am checking the file system using ls command. So it will list how many subfolders and files that belongs to www. Okay. So here you can see two files are here. So I mean two directory. Our requirement is we need to go to the HTML. Again, cd HTML. Again, ls. See, nothing, no files within the HTML file or directory. Okay. So here we need to keep our codes for exposing that application. So we need to create index.html. Okay. That's a file name. That I mean, index.html file is a default file name to keeping HTML code. Okay. So we need to create a file with the HTML code. So how to create a file in the Linux system using Nano. Okay, Nano is actually a editor. Okay. So using that editor, we can create a file, or different way we can create file. For example, just we need to create a file. Okay. So we can use a command touch, then the file name. File name is index.html. Hit enter. So the file name is created. Check. We can check using ls command. See, before ls, we couldn't see anything. Now, after creating the index.html, we can see the index.html file is there. So we need to check is any content within the index.html file. Okay. Now we can see here the file name, but we need to check is anything inside the file name in this file. Okay. So we can use cat command. Okay. CAT. So cat command is using for viewing any content within specific file. Okay. So we can use cat, then the file name index.html. This is just checking is any content belongs within the index.html command file. Okay. See, there is nothing. So we couldn't see anything, or that cat command did not list anything. That means the index.html file is empty. So our requirement is we need to keep some code within the index.html file. So we can use some editor, okay, coming to Linux machine, because the Linux machine is mostly a command line, right? So we can use two method, okay, to open a editor. Our requirement is we just open the file and we need to copy some file code, or we need to type some code within the file. So we can use Nano or Vim. Both are Linux text editor. So we can go with the Nano. Okay. So now we are opening the file, okay, within a text editor. Nano, then the which file that we need to open. So we need to specify that file name. So in this case, index.html. So when you hit enter, it will open a editor, okay. See, this is editor. Here we can type whatever we need, okay, like this. So I'm just to go to chat GPT to generate some code, okay. Write me a symbol. So I am going to use the code. So copy the code, then go to the editor, paste it here. Okay, fine. Now I am going to save this file. Okay, now I'm going to save. How to save? Control X. Then it will ask to us like say yes or no. As for saving, we need to type yes, Y. So Y and hit enter. So the file is written and we exit the file. Okay. So we need to check again using cat index.html. See, now the content is displayed. So how to check? Just to go to the same page and just reload it. Okay. See, this is the application that we copied. So it will expose here. I'm again just edit and save and exit, then go back here and reload. See, the content will change. Yes, it's changed. So this way we are deploying HTTP based application using a web server. Got it. So anyone have any doubt? This is actually a traditional deployment, okay? Like nowadays we will, as per the requirement, we can deploy the same way, but nowadays most application deployment using like some microservices, okay? Like microservices means we use the tools like Docker, Kubernetes for the application deployment, not directly deploying you mean to the virtual machines. Coming to production, okay? That's why we learning Docker, Kubernetes, and DevOps tools. So anyone have any doubt regarding this application deployment?
No doubt.
So what I understood is like we did web server deployment, no application development on a web server, with the help of web server,
Hmm.
right? And in
I
a
mean,
traditional way, right?
right. We have
But
the
the
code. We have the
okay,
code, so we need to deploy. So to deploying means we need to configure the web server.
yeah, we need to configure the web server, and it could be
Yeah.
Apache or Ubuntu or
Apache. Yes. In this case,
yeah,
we configure Apache.
in
So
yeah,
Apache, actually Apache will serve the web contents, okay, to the requester, right? So in this case, I am the requester. So I am requesting. Again, when I am reloading, I am requesting to the same thing to the web server. So the Apache will serving this web content to the requester. I mean, to in this case, to me, right? So if I copy the URL to, I'm just can you check on your own browser? So you will be the requester to the web server. So the Apache web server will serve the content to you. Yeah, you go, Pooja.
yeah, okay, sir. So, but the latest way of deployment is like we use Docker and
Hmm.
Kubernetes.
Yes.
Instead of going all these steps, we'll learn something new, like different.
Right. So before
Okay.
jumping to Docker Kubernetes, we need to learn how these
The
things work.
basic idea.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
So
sir.
coming section or coming to Docker section, we will do the same thing. I mean, deploying the application to Docker, Kubernetes, like that.
Okay, sir. Sir, I want to know how did we reach to the screen where it was written, where you were showing like whatever changes we did in on console, like the terminal, the other screen where it was showing, yeah, this screen, yeah. How did we reach to this screen?
You mean the terminal, right?
No, okay, yeah, show me the both, like how did we reach to the both screens?
This is my terminal where
Yeah,
I'm
this is your
working.
terminal. So, right.
And this
And this
is
simple
this
web
page, right?
page, yeah, how did we reach to this one? Oh, this is
Use
the
using
port
the
address.
public IP. Yes, because now consider like
Okay.
okay. Now we deploy one application, right? This is our virtual machine, VM. We install Apache. And after Apache, we deploy the code for exposing our application. This is the application code. So this is a VM, okay? And this is not the VPC, leave that VPC concept, okay? So I am here and you somewhere in US, I mean somewhere in India. So we are the users, okay? So how will you access the application? Because the application is exposed to the public. So like abc.com. So this will be the URL, abc.com, www.abc.com. If we have a URL like this, then we can share the URL to the users. Otherwise, how we will access the application? Using the same virtual machine public IP, right? Public IP with the port number.
The port
In
number,
this
which you
case,
made enable, right? Which you made enable.
which one? Port number, right?
Yeah, port number 80, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I enable.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So we can use the same public IP instead of the URL. We can use public IP with the port number. Got it?
Yeah, and where we put it like this one, like just open a new page and put it there where we put the normal URLs and then it will open that screen.
Yes, we can just open a tab and we
Okay,
can
open
paste the
new tab.
public
Okay.
IP. Instead
Right.
of typing anything, we can use the public IP and it will load. I pasted on the chat. Can you check on the same URL? I mean the IP. It will open. So for example, we need to binding with some URL. So we can do that. We just to go to duck DNS.
Mm-hmm.
So here we can paste, I mean, this is a free domain, okay? They will give some free domain. Only subdomain they will give, and the full domain will be their own name, like duckdns.org. So here we can check my. So I created a domain name, my app, duckdns.org. See, and here we can change the IP with our virtual machine IP. This is my virtual machine IP, okay? I mean this instance IP, this Apache IP. So update. Now it's updated. So I'm just checking with that URL. See, it's resolved, right? So these two way we can access our application using the same machine public IP and the URL. URL is the best standard way to access application because uh, it's easy to know the which application name. Just we can type the name instead of IP. IP is complex, right?
Yeah, right.
So anyone have any doubt?
No doubt for me.
So we deployed application VM, then here the step. Okay, I will just um, provide the steps. First, we configure, deploy EC2. The next thing is install Apache. Third, open port. 80 HTTP TTP. Copy the code to the HTML directory. Access application via IP or URL. So these are the 5 steps that we followed today to fulfill our application deployment. Okay. Any doubt, anyone?
Sir, I have a like one question here.
Yes, please.
Hmm. Yeah, the code is like which we did this time, like you gave the example, like at that time you just took it from the chat GPT. So basically in real time, what kind of code we gonna use? Like the application, the real application code you're talking about?
Right. If it is a
Oh,
web application, then the developer team will send the code. We don't bother about that. So we can keep
okay,
the corresponding directory. In this, if it is served by Apache, then we can keep the code in the same directory.
right. Okay. Okay, got
Because
it, sir.
coming to real, for example, a real website, okay, that website have some more contents like the HTML code, not only the HTML code, right? For example, some dependence files, subfiles, subfolders are there. Like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
some images that we need to keep in the code, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when opening the website, it will show some images, some other like other language like CSS, PHP. So we need to keep that codes within the same directory or any subdirectory when coming to real world scenario. So coming section, I will showcase how to deploy some sample application with the real world scenario, like having the images, any other like founding like that, we can deploy, no problem.
Okay, sir.
So if anyone have a doubt, or else we can wind up the section. And tomorrow we can start the Linux, right? Go through the Linux commands.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a
Yeah.
good night, everybody. Good morning to Tawfiq.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye then. Bye all.
Bye.